Well, hello.
We're live.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Is
Let's do
there
it.
a oh, there it is. All right.
Is there a what?
Just a link I could share. I was looking for it.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me use
I don't have the necessary permission. Nah, you gonna share this.
Hold up. Try to share it without putting
shit tripping again.
yeah, just hit share now instead of like typing anything with it. For
Got
some
you.
reason it works that way and not the other way.
Got you.
Cool, 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 cool.
We out here.
What up? What up?
What's up, good people, man? The turntable is back
We here. We here. Thank
with
all
another
y'all for
live
coming in.
stream.
Check this out. One, two, three.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, we can hear you. We missing one.
Yeah, he'll be here.
How's that even possible?
You know.
Well, people, hey, if you're out there, we know that a lot of people feeling a lot of things this week. We had a lot of things going on this week. We want to give people an opportunity um, to discuss it, talk about stuff if you need to. You know, we're here. We're here to talk. We're going to talk about things from a hip hop perspective. That's what the turntable is all about. But obviously, hip hop is it being an art form. It's a reflection of life. And our life has been filled with moments just like these,
And the culture.
and, and the culture and the
Reflection of the
music,
culture.
and the music certainly is a part of that, right? It's an important piece. So uh, we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about it. So
I think our last episode on should artists be speak on social issues was right on time. So if you haven't peeped that out, that'd be good to go back and check out because we'll probably cover some of the same topics today.
Yeah, please, subscribe to the YouTube page and you'll get, a variety of episodes, but the last one we did speak on artists and social issues and a lot of what's going on, it was right on time. So that was the turntable last week. And
so
I just have to issue an apology to Miss Lena Jackson publicly.
what'd you
Uh
do? What'd you say? Sorry, Miss Jackson. What did you do?
Sorry, Miss
What did you do?
I am for
I am
real.
for real.
So yeah, so we were supposed to actually well, not broadcast, but we were supposed to have the latest turntable episode with Lena Jackson where we were discussing some very important topics that we might just have to cover another time, so I won't get into that, what the episode was about. But I lost the episode, man. I thought I downloaded it. The
Forever?
system that I use, it only keeps it.
Forever
Forever,
ever?
ever.
I thought I downloaded it.
I see what you did there.
I got to kick it. I was on that episode and it's gone in the
It's
wind.
gone, man. I contacted StreamYard, the platform that we use, and they was like, "Nope,
Dang.
that boy gone, man."
They got it. They just
That
don't want
was
to give it
that
to
was
you.
an
Mm.
amazing
Right.
episode as well.
It
I
was
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
love
dope,
that
so
man.
shit.
I
That
dropped
was
the ball
dope.
on that one, and I do apologize, but
All right.
we will
You had
have Miss Jackson back on. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
it
That's
takes
for
a
sure.
big man to admit when he makes a mistake.
for sure.
I wish, I
Shut
wish,
up.
I wish other people could do that.
Word. Word.
Ooh, that was a good
Word.
segue. That was a
Word.
Uh,
good segue. I was about to give you
Okay.
shit, but
I know you was. So I was like,
that
hold
was a
up,
good
man. I'm on your
segue.
side. I got you.
No doubt.
It takes an adult, is what you try to say. It takes
Mm-hmm.
an adult to admit when you've made a mistake and
Uh-huh.
and issue an apology. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. A lot of lessons right there. So let's kind of piggyback off our last conversation. I don't want to do a total rerun of what we talked about. I want to take it a little bit of a different direction. So we talked about the responsibility of artists to comment on social issues, right?
Direction. So we talked
Um,
about
with that being said, I'm interested to hear uh, which artists are going to actually speak up now. Is there a particular artist that you guys would like to hear um, comment on this situation right now that we haven't heard from?
Here's
Not Little Wayne.
yeah.
Yeah,
you said you
not
want
him.
to hear from Lil Wayne?
No, he said not
Oh,
Little Wayne.
okay, yeah, yeah.
So now here's something that I think from the last episode that we put out talking about artists speaking up. My perspective has slightly adjusted because just bottom line right now is if you're a hip hop artist and regardless of your color, regardless of your race, with what has been transpiring, if you are not speaking out and down with the cause of fixing the problem, you do not deserve to be in hip hop. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. That's just the bottom line.
Now,
Or
I like what Big
anybody.
Mike said. Big Mike came out and was like, I don't feel like talking to y'all,
You
but
mean
I'm
Big
going
Mike or
to.
Killer Mike?
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike,
Yeah.
Okay.
big Killer Mike,
I was about
Yeah.
to say I ain't seen Big Mike in a while.
Killer Mike.
It's actually Mike Bigger. That's his alias, but
Yeah, right. But yeah, he was like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to be here, but I got a responsibility to say something in this moment, especially since all of that shit was happening in a city.
That was
You know what
it.
I'm saying?
That was it. And that was after I saw
Every,
that video at that moment, I was like, they have to. You have to.
everybody with a voice has a responsibility.
Mhm.
Everybody with a voice has a responsibility.
Killer Mike was catching some shit though, man. Just in a couple circles and a couple,
Rightfully
him,
so.
him and Ti. You know what I'm saying? And
Rightfully
somebody,
so.
I was
Mike say some quacky shit.
well,
So
where it basically came from was, like he was speaking from the perspective of kind of wanting people to, you know, control their emotions, go home, not fuck up the city, which, probably in other realms, whether it be music or whatever, Killer Mike can very be prominently heard speaking from the perspective of an anarchist, of somebody who wants to burn down the system, tear down the system, in which his tone was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing,
Which
James. Real quick.
when it came
If
to Atlanta,
yeah, but here's the thing. If we gonna burn it down and we gonna tear it down, let it be us. I think what the point is, it ain't really us that's tearing it down, but
oh yeah,
we catching the brunt of the blame. So if it's gonna be tore down, whether you agree with that or not, if we gonna tear it down, at least let it be us that's doing it. And I think that might have been the point of, you
hey,
know,
part of the reason why I've been a little bit
Also,
quiet because I don't even know if I care about that. Like I'm caught in the middle of like the right thing to do, and we haven't been seeing the right thing. So why not try the wrong thing? Like
no. That's what I'm saying, though, Speed. If the wrong thing is gonna be tried, at least let us be the one trying it. We're not the ones out there burning stuff down or starting it. It
it's
is a
already been proven
coordinated attack from outside groups that are
and
using, as always, the black platform to further their agenda and then run back and hide behind their own.
right.
mm,
There's
I
been
think
multiple videos across the country
sure.
and multiple posts, even here in Cleveland from people that I know that were down there yesterday.
Yes.
None of these people that started it look like us. They've said specifically that a group of people that began the havoc split off from everybody else that began the day peacefully.
Mhm.
And Speed, I understand your point. You're saying, well, why doesn't it matter? As long as we burning it down, why does it matter who's doing it? The issue is you have white supremacist groups that are doing this in order to start a race war or to start their agenda and things that they want pushed forward.
And try to piggyback off of our struggle.
Yeah, that can't happen.
And
I think people recognize that. Like the thing, okay, this is the angle I'm coming from because I agree with everything you're saying. Like that, I've seen the videos, I've seen the pictures, I've seen all of that stuff, and I agree with it. I think my issue is that the pain and hurt in the country, and I'm talking about 400 plus years of pain and hurt in different forms and fashion, still equals that. So if it's somebody else doing it, I get it. It's not legit. It's kind of fake. But like what I'm saying is, I'm seeing the other side of that play out in social media. And I put something up earlier today about that. Like I'm seeing people that feel like, oh, these people did that. Now it's all fake. No, it's actually real, and it could be that. Even if it's not us doing it, that sentiment exists. That sentiment is there, and that's why I'm saying does it matter. I'm not saying does it matter that if we gonna do it, it should be us. I agree with that. But I'm saying is it's happening and it very well could be us. So I'm almost willing to see how it play out as if it was us because the arm in arm marching. No, I don't want to see our stuff tore up and broken. My job got attacked yesterday.
Yeah.
We had an issue. I was called about an issue last night. So I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it. My problem is that I cannot pinpoint a thing that has been done that has changed the thing that everybody's mad about.
See, but
and that's
here's the thing: is that here's the problem with what has transpired is that some of us, have unintentionally aligned themselves with others that
Don't have our best interest in mind.
don't have our best interest. They don't give a shit about Black people. Some are with goals of destroying us that were just there to piggyback off of what we're doing.
agreed.
So now in addition to that, here's my perspective. I may catch flack with it, but I don't really care.
Choose carefully, Garbs. Choose carefully.
I know, but I need people to understand is that and I've wrestled with this, because yesterday I was kind of going pretty hard with it with my perspective. Now I recanted a little bit today after thinking about it because
that's why I was saying choose carefully.
No, I'm not going all the way.
No, I saw it in your eyes, bro.
What I'm saying is that this is what we have to be careful about. We number one don't want to allow the blame to number one be put towards us. That's first and foremost. The complete blame.
Absolutely.
Number two, it's very important and imperative that we have allies within the community. And if something was going to happen, you can't put other people in jeopardy. I mean, a lot of Black folks work downtown.
Yes.
Work downtown. So now, by us aligning with those that don't have our best interests, we now put those who do have our best interests.
You bring up a good point. Let me take one of those points and let's kind of segue into a different direction here, just briefly. We talk about, you mentioned allies, right? It's good. I think in situations like this, you definitely have to draw, lines are being drawn in the sand in regards to who's your ally, who's, you get to see, you're seeing a lot about what page people are on. If people are with
Mhm.
you, if they're still patient, things are going to get better, or they are upset as I'm upset, or whatnot. Now
Uh,
let's talk. Yeah, so let's talk about artists right now. I want to take it back to hip hop, because hip hop is a powerful voice.
I'm
um,
glad you said that.
I am I feel just like Garbs has said, I feel like they all have to say something at this point. I don't think you cannot. This is not a Cleveland thing. This ain't a Minneapolis thing. This ain't an Atlanta thing. This is a national issue. I think if there ever was a time to say something, this is the time to say something, to do something. So I'm interested in seeing what artists. Now, with that all being said, what artists are we waiting to hear from? Because we had situations that happened in the past. You guys all remember, like I do, the "We Are the World" movement, when that song came together, and how many people were affected by that song, how many strings were pulled to make that all happen, all the names that were involved in that. Hip hop has at least that kind of power right now, right? You're telling me the number one selling genre of music, in the world. There's a strong voice, and I
Who
think
could
with
put that together?
Jay-Z could put it together.
Put it together. So
Jay-Z
could
could put it together. So could Drake. If Drake calls, if Beyonce calls, people wouldn't answer.
yeah, they'll be all for it. They'll
So
jump in.
what you're basically saying is like the top tier artists. That's pretty much what you're getting at.
Well, what I no, I'm saying everyone. I'm saying everyone needs to, people need to say
So
something.
are you saying that you're more or less waiting to hear from the top tier artists more so than anybody else?
No, I think everyone's got a responsibility.
They have
I,
different levels that their voice can be
different
heard.
levels of right different levels of voice can be heard, different volume meters, if you will, right.
Because I could tell you
um
right now, Jay's not going to say anything. What
I
Jay's going
think
to
you know
do,
what.
what Jay's going to do, hold up, is he's going to fund the movement. He's going to bail people out. He's going to play the position that he can financially without jeopardizing any of his corporate contacts to speak about his position personally. And I'm not mad at that
I'm not
because
either.
we
I'm
need
fine.
that.
Yeah, I
We need
agree.
somebody who can fund the movement. You know what I'm saying? Like there's you know what I'm saying, a historical precedence of people in power supporting the movement from behind the scenes, and I feel like we need that. Just like I feel like at every at every intersection of this, like where we have so many different opinions, because there's not one singular black opinion. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying on this, right? The same way that a lot of us have said that we need allies, I'm also in tune with a group of black people who feel like we have no allies. They feel like there's no POC coalition,
yeah,
that pretty much at this point us being out there with others is the reason that we're being spotlighted and highlighted negatively, because we are too accepting, which I can feel that. I don't necessarily feel that myself. I feel like we need the numbers. No matter at this point, no matter what we do, just systematically, we need the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So people who have like these far views, I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand historically where they're coming from, where they pull that from, where they pull "we have no allies" from. Because historically it's been proven that a lot of people have shut the fuck up when it's been time to step up and come forward for us, whereas we've put ourselves out for a lot of different groups. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? So I can understand that sentiment. I don't necessarily
yeah.
agree with it. I don't necessarily promote that sentiment, but I can't even argue against those people like, no, no, we need to. Like, I can't argue
That's
that. If that's
where
how you feel, I understand exactly why you feel that way.
Hey
that's where
But
James,
I
I
personally
the
feel like we need the
responsibility.
numbers.
You got to
I
hold
could
people responsible now, and especially these hip hop artists, that have made their name, made their life successful and great off of black culture, you know, regardless of who it is. They
More so
need.
than any way, I feel that way about the others more so than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel strongly that way about others in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Who have benefited off of hip hop, who make their livelihood off of hip hop, who make black music. Simply put, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I wasn't gonna be the one to post the picture. You know what I'm saying? Of George Floyd and or any of that shit.
Yeah,
I
I,
have my
I
own
didn't
way
post the
of
picture.
speaking out.
I didn't post
Right.
the picture as well because, like,
Yeah.
honestly, when I see that picture, that really,
It hurts.
It
It
triggers.
hurts.
It hits.
Yeah.
It hits. It pushes buttons. Jinx, I
It
was gonna.
hurts, it pushes buttons, but I'm also a person, I'm motivated by our strength more so than our weakness. There was a picture of like a black woman like on her knee in front of like a row of police officers and shit. And the picture was, I mean, it was a great picture photographically. It was just a good ass picture.
It's
But
some crazy photography going on.
it was some dope ass photography, but I'm like, fuck this picture. Like, I ain't about to be on my knee in front of no goddamn police. Like, I just speak from a position where if it's not about empowerment, if it's not about our strength, fuck that shit. And
And
so
that's why like I'm
the
like I
picture
look
of
at the,
George Floyd with his
the
on the ground with the knee on his neck, fuck that picture. Yeah,
how
it's
you
a
was talking about
reality.
the rappers and artists and stuff like that and speaking up and stuff like that. I mean that's cool, but like if we're leaning on them, and in my eyes, and this is just an off the cuff idea I'm seeing in my head, but it's like I'm looking at them to we could look at what you call allies and say these are all people that love the culture but don't love the struggle that created the culture. All right, love the people, but don't really necessarily love what it is you talking about, or how, or something like what Jinx just said. Some do your feelings about it, like, yeah, man, we all got to come together and we all got to be unity and we all blah 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 blah. There's a large percentage of this country that truly believes when we ain't talking about it, it ain't happening. They truly believe that when instances like this George Floyd
Mhm.
thing happens, is when race stuff starts.
Right.
Right.
And so for my thing is, it's like if we expect anything from the rappers or the singers or black artists in general, my thing is shut the whole shit down. Do that. Show these people what it means to not have that culture that you so look up to and want to go on Spotify and Tidal and all that kind of shit happen. If we like we
We would
there
have to own something to do that.
we would have to, well no I'm saying like, dude, can
I know
you
what you're
really
saying.
imagine, a year without any of them people? We are
No.
just destroying, like, a year without the Beyonces and Jay-Z's
Right.
on Twitter, and Twitter would die
Right.
straight up.
Right.
Take all of them people, remove them from that platform, and it's a college platform again. It's gone.
You
And
would.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, when you start talking about what you expect from them artists, I'm like, exert power exertion. That's what I expect from them artists.
yeah.
There she is, goggles in the building. But that's what I expect from them. That's what I
Well,
expect from them. I
well,
expect,
Feel
what I'm
that.
saying? They could talk. They could
well,
talk, and that's great. But
But action, I
But,
think,
but before
action.
you say something, guys, before you say something, real quick, CJ, I know you've been wanting to say, wanted to make a point earlier. Are you ready to make your point?
Yeah. My point was, I agree with what Jinx was saying earlier about playing the background. And that's cool. That we need people to pull strings behind the scenes. We need to be funded. Somebody got to play the front though, and it's I feel a lot of people are playing that background role, and I don't see a lot of people stepping up to the forefront. And it has to, and I'm not talking. It has to be someone of status. It can't be lower
Well,
level
see,
dudes.
okay, I have to speak on that
Okay.
because I do not believe that your celebrity status means that you are the right person to
Agreed.
lead
I
or
agree.
to be in the forefront of a movement like this.
I
And I
agree.
and I and I honestly, I subscribe to the Dick Gregory, you know what I'm saying,
Perspective.
opinion of artists and entertainers being a factor in the movement. Period. Like I'm not really big on giving a fuck about what an artist. Dick Gregory said it. Ain't no artist, ain't no entertainer ever freed nobody. And man, come on, man. Where the earplugs at, man? You know I'ma say stuff, man.
Jinx is for the kids. Jinx is for the kids.
But yeah, I mean, I subscribe to that. Like, no artist or entertainer has ever freed anybody, and
No,
I
Jinx.
don't.
Here, let me expand on my point. I agree with all of that. There was a time in music though where you had like Chuck D would have stepped up and said something
It
by
could be
now.
Nick Cannon, man.
There would have been a bunch of people that would have stepped up and said something by now. Were this the 90s, early 2000s? We're at a point in music where there aren't a lot of those people that
Right.
would or that you would want to even step up. It shows where we are at as a culture and musically. I
Certain
I
agree.
feel like a lot of people waiting for it to blow over.
certain
Yeah.
aspects of the culture have actually been suppressed when it pertains to the artists that are speaking about issues. So that where can be in argument to what you're saying, Speed, a little bit. I don't want to say argument. That can be in contrast to your perspective of like the Twitters and all that, where you have people who are active that may not be your Jay-Z or Drake, but Kweli is active, um, on Twitter, and there's a few others that are active on Twitter and all that are speaking out. So do
Nick
we want
Cannon.
to Nick Cannon as well? So do we want to say like, okay, well, we're eliminating ourselves from the platform, but we have nothing else in place to pick up the slack for that platform not being available by choice for us?
Let me
Well,
piggyback off that real quick before Haku basically moves the conversation along. Because what you just said, Garbs, is to me it's the reason that a lot of what's going on, a lot of what we're experiencing right now is going on. The fact that we don't have a platform, a backup platform that's exclusively for us. The fact that we don't have certain businesses and financial institutions in place. To me, it's all a part of planning, right? And whenever we run into this situation or a situation like this in talks of black ownership, black business, and things like that being the answer come up, and then we have like the actual pullback being, well, wow, how can we do that? How is that going to stop police brutality? We basically always have this back and forth pull within the community of people who say we should do this, and then people who say, well, how's that going to help this? It has nothing to do with this. The same way that right now we have people saying like, why are people looting? That has nothing to do with what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like people expect there to be a direct correlation between what happens and how we respond. And that's
mm-hmm.
cover her ears.
You
Cover
good,
your
man. You good. Go ahead.
Bullshit.
I feel that.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait
He
for
was
it.
holding that in. He was holding that in.
I have to say is that I agree with that because the thing is, but you got to think of there's a lot of different things that go into this. Is that one thing that's being pushed within our communities, and I've heard it frequently since I was a kid, is the concept of money being the root of all evil. And this is something that people are taught from a young age to grow up believing it. And uh, that's something that, like I was not taught. We need to be in control. We need to control money and we need to control our own
Well,
property.
properly, it's the love of money, and that's the
And
proper quote. The love of money is the root of all
well,
evil.
He said it's
But
Sunday.
us being ready isn't just a financial thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you
no,
said, a
it's not.
platform that's for us that we can go to, if not for anything else, just to discuss and to organize and get things together. You know what I'm saying? Like
But it's not
that
just
within
about
itself.
it's not just about exclusivity though. It's simply first and foremost it's about ownership.
Well, I think it. I think
I
that.
think
I
we're
think
saying
you're.
the same thing.
I think yeah. I think you're making similar points. I think we're maybe same page, different paragraph. In a way. Um, I think it's important. Communication is always important, right? Communication is always important, and I've seen all the posts from all of you guys over over the years, and we all communicate differently. Some of us a little bit more direct, some of us a little
Appreciate
bit,
the love, y'all.
absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, you talking to people on online? My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. We haven't acknowledged the people watching at all. We just going. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So
right.
Yeah.
we
So
still want people to comment and chime in and all that stuff. So
absolutely.
please do.
Wait, so I get the point I was trying to make is, as far as artists are concerned, we want to make sure more voices need to be heard. That's my whole point. I don't care how you do it. Jinx had mentioned, Jay-Z maybe behind the curtain, so to speak, paying. Maybe it's acts of works in the community. Maybe it's actually speaking. Maybe it's actually, videos or things like that. I don't care what you do as long as it's effective and as long as you're reaching somebody. But I think that some way, somehow, things need to happen. With that being said, I do want to segue the conversation because I think we could talk about this for the entire episode, this entire time if we want. Um, sleeper album. I got an email or I got a text yesterday from my brother saying that Joel Ortiz and Crooked came out with the album. Did anybody hear about that? Am I the only
I
one?
know about the album. I ain't tried to check it out yet though.
Yeah,
No, I ain't even
Garbs,
know.
did you hear about this?
I did not
Okay,
know.
now so now I don't
Arthur
feel
said it
bad.
was fire.
It was fire.
That's what I'm saying.
It
So
was fire.
if Garbs didn't hear it, then I don't feel bad, right? If Garbs heard, if he didn't hear about it, I don't feel bad.
When did it
Bro,
come
I
out?
had no idea it was a thing.
When did it
No
come out?
idea, huh?
I had a chance
When
to
did
check
it
it
come
yet.
out?
It came out.
Like yesterday or 2 days ago,
Recently.
something like that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say just a couple days ago.
That's probably why I think all of us have
Harper
been.
shook her head. Yeah, she said, yeah, a couple days ago.
Uh,
Way to go,
It
Harper.
says that is fire, so
We've
too
all
many
been
too many cuss words.
occupied. Our
What's the
minds
name
are
of it?
preoccupied.
It's called HARD, HARD. So like
Wow.
it stands for like an acronym. But it's him and Crooked. I don't actively check for Crooked. I will say that, I'll be honest, but he can spit. I mean, I enjoy
Oh yeah, man.
his
Crooked
Crook
rhymes.
definitely
beast.
one of them. He one of them rappers that I like seeing like in person doing this thing. Like I
I just don't know about his ability to make music, man. Like
yeah,
I need
there you
people to
go.
make music
There you go.
personally. Like if
Well,
I'm about
so
to
you don't
listen
think
to a
that
whole project,
I'll say this, that Joel Ortiz, I've listened to a couple of his
Joel has an album that I like.
right,
Like the brick, that whole album I
Bricks and
like.
Bodegas or whatever.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Crook. Has Crook ever came out with an album?
I don't know if he's suited to do an album by himself like that.
Exactly. Which is so I was surprised.
He's a beast though. He can flow.
yeah,
Oh, he
'cause
can
I mean,
run.
I
Like them
just
things.
don't
Everybody
listen to
like
Crooked.
just
I
like
listen to Crooked for
cannabis.
that verse.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was doing that weekly or whatever that was. He was doing
That
like
was incredible.
you look for that.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I don't know if an album is the one though, but I'll
He
be
should have
checking for
found.
that.
He
We'll
should have
see.
found a way to monetize that.
Yeah.
That weekly thing he was doing.
I'm
He
not
didn't
I'm
get
not
any money off of that.
I'm not hip on
Nah,
that.
nah.
Talk to me
Haiku, he
about
did
that.
it. Haiku. Remember back when I was talking about doing a 52?
Yeah.
Hard,
He did.
HARD.
He did something similar to that. He did a verse a week for 52 straight weeks, and it was coming out on certain hip hop websites. And more than just a verse. He was doing
Like
almost like
almost a
a
song.
song's worth every week, and it was hot. And you started looking forward to it. This is a long time ago, though.
No, I just checked it out on Spotify to see what it was, and I guess that might be a collection of them. I'm not sure if it's all the weeks, but
It'd be
I'll check it
52
out.
of them.
So who was the artist that did that? He did like a year roundup. Who was the one who did a year recap, basically?
Skills,
Man, skills.
Mad
Skills did
skills.
that. I thought that was pretty smart. I
and
thought that
then
was pretty
got
creative.
jacked by Uncle Murder.
Uncle Murder jacked it unapologetically and shit.
Yeah,
Just,
very, very much so.
It happens.
yeah. Another surprise drop was Freddie Gibbs Fettuccine with Alchemist.
How was
I don't know
that?
if y'all fuck with Gibbs like that, but I'm a real big Gibbs fan.
Are you?
The Bandana album with him and Mad Lib is one of my most bumped this year.
Okay.
I play that shit all year.
Writing that down to listen to. I'm gonna check it out.
Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs with the
Told you
Alchemist.
won't like it. I'm just messing with you. I'm just playing.
It's that good hip hop. So you
I
won't
could
like
make
it.
it a bad fan pick and make you listen to that shit.
There you go.
Nah, hey, I'll check it. That's why I'm gonna check it out on my own terms. That way, when you bring it up, it'd be like, oh, I
You
already
ain't got
heard
to.
it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what we should do though? We should do one where we all pick like an artist or a group or a group of artists that we like that would shock people that we like.
I like that.
So does she. She likes that.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, that's the one, Garb. That's the one right there. Got
I
it.
like that.
Are you talking about outside of hip hop?
No, maybe a hip hop album that you like that.
Hip hop artist that.
But see, that's hard for Jinx because he don't leave his lane. Ooh, Harper agreed. Jinx got a lane and he don't leave it.
Just like what you thinking as far as like the discussion as far as like
my most out there shit, man, is gonna be like Hyro or some shit like that, where it's like, oh, you like that shit? Like,
why'd you give it away?
Can't you just hold on to it?
Yeah, you gotta hold on. You gotta save it.
That's off the
man.
table.
I might be able to pull something else out, man. You know, man.
Yeah, I got a bunch. I got a bunch of stuff that I
That's because there's nothing you really don't like.
Boom! Don DeMarco.
That just happened.
Oh,
Dang.
No, he tried to dunk on me. You see that?
He said, you have no discerning taste, brother.
He tried to AI Tyron Lumi. That's what he just tried to do.
Stepped over you, right? Shot, then stepped over you.
Damn.
It's gonna be exactly the opposite. Like Garb's gonna have to think really hard to come up with somebody that we would be shocked that you did like.
Yeah, he is. Because when you say Gangsta Nip, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I figured that,
I mean, now we want to do an R&B episode.
Gangsta Nip.
I'll alley-oop y'all some shit. But
I went back.
That's what we do. Make it not hip hop. Even though it's a hip hop show.
Make it not hip hop.
Well, then I guess it won't be turntable.
It
then.
won't be turntable then, man. I'm
be the amplifier edition.
So
we can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can do like a sub turntable type shit. I mean,
gay.
A Serato edition.
I feel like
we doing the Serato edition
on this.
We are dynamic people, gentlemen. We don't have to just only like hip hop.
On this episode of Serato.
Unless you speak.
Turntable to Serato.
Hey, so I was watching. I'm watching one of the versus battles last night. Right, I'm sitting with the family. We're going through
112.
No, we didn't do that one. I went back to the Babyface and Teddy Riley. Let me tell you how I did that, right? Why I did that. I went through
because you didn't see it the first time?
No, I did see it.
Oh, okay.
Which version did you watch? Did you watch episode 1 or episode 2?
Episode 2. That's really the only episode. That's the only.
Episode 1 was pretty entertaining.
For different reasons.
Doing it just to laugh.
It was the sitcom version.
So what I want to talk about is the importance of that it factor, right? We talk about flow, content, delivery. That's how I was brought up into hip hop. Flow, content, and delivery is important for an MC. Thank you. So that stage presence, that I find it like when I watch it, and I know they're not hip hop artists per se, but I find when Babyface and Teddy were battling,
if you're battling, I feel like that's hip hop culture.
Okay, it felt like hip hop right there. Like it felt like when they were like, it's interesting that you brought that up. You got Tevin singing that song. I mean, he can certainly sing. It kind of reminds me of another artist that I was working with before. And the song was good. It was young. I was a grown man, so I couldn't, we couldn't do that. But it didn't work for us. But these guys definitely deserved a high five, and they played the kissing game like right then and there, and it's like, dude, that's and
That's hip hop.
Babyface was even better at it than Teddy was.
Right.
Babyface, he came to battle.
A natural.
His shade level was on a whole different.
He
high.
Like and smooth.
Babyface was like a tree. Teddy Riley was like an umbrella. One was just natural shade, and one you had to manufacture. Babyface's shade just comes naturally, like
natural shade.
I was like, so y'all do remixes over there?
Right.
We do remixes? I didn't know we were doing remixes. I don't do remixes.
Let me see if I can think of any remixes that. Oh, I got one. How about the time?
Yeah, man.
Hater level 10 right there, but.
I know I'm reaching by even asking, but did anybody watch the Little John T-Pain?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I did.
You watched it?
Yeah,
I watched it.
I didn't check that out. I ain't checked that out.
It's one of my favorite ones, to be honest with you.
You know what? I did see a little bit of it on YouTube. I seen a little.
I heard some people say that.
T-Pain has hits.
Yeah.
I mean, hits. I was impressed. I mean, if we were ever going to talk about artists who given who we are, what kind of music we make, people wouldn't think that we would like this artist, right? T-Pain would be my dude. I was
gonna say let's keep it 100. Haiku, you've always had a soft
T-Pain,
spot
my
for
dude.
T-Pain.
Don't talk bad about him.
Keep it a buck.
Don't talk bad about him. Whether he's rhyming or he's singing or crooning,
I feel like
or
in a former life, Haiku was T-Pain.
Listen, that's my nickname. Quiet as kept.
It was for a minute.
To even run next to Lil Jon, you had to have hits. But
you said what, Garb?
Lil Jon won that shit unanimously.
Yeah, that's off the table too now.
Oh, because he got a bunch.
Listen,
unanimously, Lil Jon crushed T-Pain.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Everybody says it.
I fervently disagree with you.
You're the only one.
Your Honor, I object.
You're the only one.
I'm about to hold you in contempt of court. I'm about to hold you in contempt of court. That's ridiculous.
Lil Jon no. Thin Air, nigga, a New York classic that he produced, nigga. Like at that point, I'm like, oh, it's a rap.
What he pull out?
Fuck that fucking it's a reggae song.
Oh, okay.
It's the one with that doom 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 doom.
That sounds like children's story.
It does kind of have a children's story, but
Lil Jon,
but it was a reggae.
Lil Jon made children's story.
Oh, but
he won. It is a rap. You wrong,
Haiku. Look this shit up.
You talking about the Capleton joint? Oh, you talking about the Capleton? Yeah,
wait, he made that?
Yes.
There is no escape from King Selassie. Yeah, I forgot about
it. That's hot.
That is hot. That is hot. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I completely forgot.
It ain't children's story, but yeah, it's hot.
He won that round. What you trying to say? That's fine.
No.
He won. No, he clearly won that round. I didn't even hear what T-Pain said. He played after that. He clearly won that round. But Jinx, they got a lot of those, right? They got a lot of rounds, right? They got a lot of rounds.
Yeah. Most of which Lil Jon won.
Lost. Exactly. Most of them he lost. You're right. I totally agree. Most of them he lost.
Hey, tell us who won, y'all. Let us know who won, T-Pain or Lil Jon.
Who won, T-Pain or Lil Jon?
We're gonna move on from T-Pain.
I like T-Pain too.
It's gonna make me not like.
Oh, speaking of which, big up to Miss Lena Jackson, because Lena Jackson did a whole bit about T-Pain that we ain't gonna.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I wish y'all could have, because she actually kicked some shit about T-Pain and it was dope. But she's a fan.
Thanks, Jinx.
I wasn't trying to go there, Jinx, but okay.
Are you sure?
It was though. You went.
I gotta bounce, y'all.
Talk about that.
You gotta go.
People were like, okay, but where is it?
All right, Siege, stay up.
Say peace. Say bye-bye.
All right, brother.
Say bye-bye.
Bye, baby. Say hi to your little
She gonna
brother
say
for
bye
me.
as soon as I cut it off. Watch.
It's like,
All
I
right,
need to
G.
watch that.
Peace.
bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
Yeah, but that
so
worked. We can do that. We can do that episode.
which
We could do
episode?
one a rapper and a R&B artist. One of
Yeah,
each.
pick one, or it don't even have to be R&B, or does it have to be R&B?
What are we talking about? What's the theme of this episode? What are we talking about?
Theme is stuff or artists that would surprise people that you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Eh, I would want to make it some type of special edition or something. I'm a stickler for just sticking to the format.
Hence the term stickler. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you know, I'm a stickler for that
It's
type of
kind of
shit. But I mean, like,
given
I'm
in
not
the
opposed to
term.
like,
It was
right.
great
I mean, but
there.
I'm not opposed to like doing something different. Just
Sure.
maybe
Making
just
it.
being a
You talking about
special
a?
editions, like
He
shit.
just want to
Fuck
make
it.
it a B side episode, y'all. That's what he's
Y'all
trying to do. He's
said
trying to
No,
make it a B side. It's all
Oh, we
good.
can do it on the live. We can do it on the live.
We can do it on the live. Quiet as kept. We could do it on the live. How about that, Jinx? Is that cool?
I'm with that.
All right.
Shit, I'm
All
with
right.
that.
We'll do that. We'll try to see if we can prep for that next time. Any other albums that came out at all?
No, I did
Survivor?
want to mention something.
Hit me.
I wanted to mention something because 2 days ago I watched what is that movie from our movie episode that Jinx was talking about, man? The
What was it? What was it about?
the rap battle movie. The can't remember the
Body,
name of it.
What was
Huh?
it?
body.
Bodied. Yeah.
Oh no, that ain't the one. I thought that was the one you were talking about. Nah, I watched this joint. I think it was on it's either on Amazon or on Netflix. It's a rap battle joint, but it's British
Hmm.
and it's called like Versus or something like that. I can't remember,
Okay.
but it's like a British 8 Mile type thing jumping
Is it?
off. And it's funny because they mentioned 8 Mile in the movie, and I was like, haha, I can't go a whole movie without mentioning that y'all ripped off 8 Mile in this movie.
Right.
But yeah, it's this white
Was
kid.
it good? Oh, it took you too long.
Define
It took you too
good.
long.
Too long, bro.
Define good.
Would you
It
watch
was
it again?
no.
Okay.
No.
No.
I mean, that don't mean good though.
It
It means
does.
good to me.
Yo, what was the
You
name?
know how many times I've seen The Matrix?
What was the
I
name
I
of that
watched
movie
something
that
good.
came
But,
out?
I mean, I watched something more than one time, but
What was
Jinx,
the name
what?
of that movie that came out in Cleveland, man?
Oh, dope.
Huh?
Dope.
dope.
No, not
Dope.
dope. Not dope.
What movie you talking about?
I think your boy Q.
Q Nice.
Oh, the Velo
Yeah.
movie. What was that? Cain and Abel movie?
Oh, Dave Stewart's joint
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day?
Yeah, you talking
It
about
was
Velo
basically
movie.
like he was battling, but he was like doing poetry or some shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'll figure
I
it
can't
out.
remember
You don't
the name
remember
of it.
So I did
title?
a verse on the soundtrack.
Okay.
As
Like,
did Edot. Edot did
Everybody.
too. I'm pretty sure.
what's the name of the movie?
I can't remember, man.
Is
But like, you
underground.
know what, man? We was down. It was like
Man,
basically everybody who ever spit in Cleveland down there and
Mhm.
off Martin Luther King
yeah.
just vibing and spitting in ciphers, and I mean that was a beautiful moment though.
Good times. Yeah,
That was dope.
right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shit, I was just trying to remember the name of that movie. I remember I had rented it from Blockbuster.
I
I
have it.
was in
I have to go through my stuff though and find it.
yeah. And I was in Indianapolis at the time, but I rented it in Blockbuster. I think I was just surprised that it was in there. I'm like, oh, this shit is here? I'm like, let me rent it. And then I wish I didn't.
Oh God.
My favorite line out of the movie was Suave was like, "Well, what if I want to take your soul?" And I was like, I remember that to like.
Every one of the movies, like I think like 80% of the movie was like ad lib. Cause we were just saying shit.
Yeah,
Like
that was
here's the
definitely
general idea of what it
definitely
is you're supposed to say.
what's the script for today type movie. Like it was just as we go. It's funny, man. Like like I'm good for like a good low
Is it Hip
budget.
Hop Life? Is it Hip Hop Life?
Life.
Yes.
For life.
Okay, and so I want to apologize for the fact that it took so long, but I went on the site IMDb and looked them up. Y'all know how many movies this dude has done? I
No.
mean, this dude's got a ton. I mean, I had to scroll. I mean, he's done a ton of projects. Seriously,
Word?
seriously.
You talking about Velo?
Velo, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of
Yeah,
projects.
they got Velo. Dave Stewart. That's our dude right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm
You
gonna
gotta
have to
check that
go
out.
through and
Whatever.
check out some of the stuff that I haven't seen. Then
Actually, and he just posted
I take
the
that
he's
back,
got
man. Matter of fact,
mm,
because Velo went on the Warning Shot tour with us and filmed the whole
yeah,
thing, and none of us ever seen any of the
just like
footage.
Jinx. He pulled a Jinx.
I take that back, man. Speed don't like
He
that, man.
pulled.
Speed don't like
You
that.
lose one episode, man, and you
Oh no, Jinx. Listen, what losing one episode is nothing
yeah,
compared to how much material that Velo lost probably on that tour. And I mean, he even followed. We were trying to do a documentary, and things happen. But
And
man, you talking about
we had like
like
an
a
hour long
year's worth.
conversation. We had an hour long
Oh,
conversation in Jink's crib in Columbus. And I remember thinking at the time, I remember like, this is spectacular. Like the just because everybody was kind of giving their own personal out of the way experience. It was
oh, it was
like,
the
you know,
turntable before the turntable and shit.
yeah. And it was like cats was, giving their experience on, the
it was
hip
called
hop
the Boombox at that point. But go ahead.
and traveling and all of that stuff. And he had his camera out, and I was like, man, this is beautiful, and none of it ever
Never see the light of day.
surfaced.
does
Light of
it
day.
still exist?
So
Who
here's a
knows?
question. Here's a question because
IMDb.
all of y'all have all of y'all have made beats. At least I believe all of y'all have made beats in the past.
Yes.
Uh, Give me a time that's been like your like we worked on something and you like, man, this is gonna be great. And then came back to it the next day only to realize you didn't save it or you can't find it. Have you ever had that feeling?
Oh yeah,
Like you
that's happened plenty of
I've
times
never
where
had that.
because like when I started making beats, it was on the MPC 2000 with the floppy disk. You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's been times that I made something when I first started making beats. Before I just started because after a few experiences, I just started as soon as I make it, just dump it into the computer automatically, just because I'm like I don't want to lose it. Um, but there's been times that has happened, or the disc was corrupted, or something
Mm.
like that, and it's just like,
Yeah, I know
oh,
that to
it
happen.
hurts. It hurts.
I definitely know what happened to Vice. I mean, there was a whole like other version of the Play Havoc album.
Oh wow.
Like we lost the whole album.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
this was, and it was on the cusp of when we let go of our third member.
Right.
So it was on the cusp of that during that time where it was like, oh, we really just have no choice but to just start recording a whole nother album with just
Dang.
me and Vice. So that was my group. Um, like from the late '90s to like the mid 2000s was Play Havoc, and we have an album. You can still stream the shit. It's All Things Do, but that was like our second after we lost all our shit. So we had like
That sucks.
plenty
yeah.
of hardware issues. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was fucked up, man. We lost the whole album. I had a mini disc player that got stolen out of my car with a bunch of just like grimy underground shit. I think there was maybe even some shit that we had did. Haiku that was on there. Some shit like freestyles
I was
from where
wondering about that. Like what happened whatever
yeah,
happened?
from where we pirated like the radio station. We was doing freestyles. Like I had a mini disc with just all that shit on it. Somebody straight took it. I'm like, God damn, you couldn't just leave the disc, like.
I don't need this
Man.
part of it.
Yeah, man. So I'm
So
very familiar with losing
it's funny.
some music, nigga.
it's funny that you mentioned
Which is
mini
why
disc.
right now the album that I had that I'm working on, I have that shit backed up in 3
Sure you
different
do.
places.
Sure you do.
Got to.
I'll play right now.
It's funny that you mentioned mini disc because I was just on eBay and bought one because I'm a tech I'm a tech head, so I love like going back and like reminiscing on some of the old stuff. Do y'all remember? If for those that are not familiar, this is
Yeah,
a mini
please
disc player.
explain what you have in your
Yeah,
hand,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah,
Not
like
yeah.
everybody knows.
a packet of cigarettes or something. I don't know what that is. Like,
So,
who?
so this is a mini disc player. Let me see if I can get it real close. Ah, there we go. Mini disc player. And this right here you could record or play
Do
music.
you have a disc?
Of course,
Yes.
right here. And
Quantum
look,
sleep.
look at that. This is the first. This is the first release from E.com. And the reason why I put it on this is because when this was initially released, we put it on just trying to save money. We put it on a CDR and not a real CD, right? So it would, over time, it wouldn't be anything. You couldn't play it. Right now, I can't play any of the original Quantum Sleep albums, Quantum Sleep albums. I can't play any of them. But I was like, you know what? I got all these discs. I've got beats on them. I've got all this stuff. It's got to be from what 2002 was when I had it. And I was like, you know
Hold
what?
that
Let
shit
me
up, man.
let me go buy one of
No,
these. I paid $70 for it on eBay, and
70.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Damn.
That's like when they first dropped or
it's
something.
you know what
yeah.
though? The thing is this, there's value with you getting it because now you can really preserve.
Memories are priceless, Garbs. The memories
Right.
are Garbs. I have a song on here that I produced for
You still
you.
got those? I've been.
I have I
I
have
have to
it.
play that
All I have is
game.
one song. I have one song that I produced for you, and it's over one of my favorite beats from that genre
Yeah,
and from that time. I was like,
yeah. Is it
I
with the drums?
yeah, dude. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh man, I
You
love
know what
that.
I'm talking about.
Exactly. That was my
Yeah,
favorite one that we did, man. I love
Bro.
that's
it's sick.
amazing.
I look,
Never
man.
did that.
I got a couple discs.
I drove down to
Do
Columbus to
you,
Yeah, I got a
Jinx?
couple discs.
If you do, then you can send them this way,
oh,
or and I'll put them on CD if you want. Or I'm telling you, go on eBay, man. You can get one. It might cost you about 70 to $100, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
now here's a question. So we're talking about old technology. Do any of
Yeah.
you still have any of the old ADAT tapes from back in the day that you
No.
Do I have an eight
No. I'll be right back.
dad?
I haven't seen? Wow, that's
I'm gonna
Nah.
amazing.
do that one time.
I still got zip this, but I ain't got no ADAS though.
You still got the zip disc?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, I
that's
got
see,
a few of
that's
them.
impressive too. That's impressive too.
Nigga, they selling the one that I had, bro.
And how much is it? How much is it now?
Nigga, $200.
You didn't pay that much initially,
You
did
got
you?
that. You go ahead and put that in the mail and send that to Haiku then.
$200.
Hey,
Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna do a screen caps. Hold up.
go ahead, because I
Nigga,
was looking at them.
what?
I was looking at them. I'm like, oof, oof. Now, so here's the thing, Speed. When I was looking at it,
Mhm.
you know how I am with texting, right? My texting's all over the place. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, there it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
There it
this the
is.
joint I had.
Wow,
This
for some
joint.
reason that was a really popular piece of equipment right there.
See, that's the thing. I
Because it
don't know.
didn't.
I didn't know. Did either of y'all own one? Because I didn't know too many people who had it.
I owned three total. I
I
had two.
think
I
I
had
knew that you. I
No,
think I knew that you had that. Either I had one,
I
but
didn't.
outside of us, I didn't know too many people who were using mini discs.
Well, when I saw that you had it, that's when I started respecting you. I was like, you know what, this dude.
Before that, boy,
Before that, no way.
No, but the thing about it was the beautiful thing about mini discs is that it didn't skip. It never skipped. I mean, you'd have to jump damn near on top of it for it to skip, and that's only because you pushed a button when your foot landed on it. Other than that, they didn't skip. It was beautiful. I don't have any of the ADATs like not with me. There must be somewhere else in another box. But I do have some of the old zip discs, that we used to use. In fact, Speedy, I got one. I got one with a song that you and I did together back
Man,
in the day, back when you used to live in Heights.
In
Uh,
Heights. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
about missing music. I'm like, I got missing music with Haiku. Got missing music with
yeah.
the Monkeys. We had a whole, like, our whole actual second album never dropped.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Like our second album was called Dynamic. Never
Oh yeah.
dropped. Like some of the songs is on my SoundCloud page.
Mm.
I mean our Bandcamp page. Some of the songs is
You're
on
gonna
there.
have me
They're
ruffling
unmixed. Like
through the
none of them songs ever got
archives
mixed. But
after
like,
this.
yeah,
I got a bunch of records like back in the day when Spitting Image was living off of Fleet. Like I got a bunch of records that we recorded over there,
dude.
but I don't
What?
have them. I'm saying
Oh,
I wonder if
I don't know what. Like I remember, like man, the thing about the
Fit
spit the spit mansion as we used to call it.
yeah,
It was a group, y'all. It was called Spitting Image, and they was a part of our crew. And they had a house in Cleveland Heights, and like
it was on
everybody would just used to fall through there, and there was equipment there, so songs would happen.
oh yeah, they
And
did.
I remember playing Grand Theft Auto and just like, hey, you got a verse for this? Yup.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened to all that music, man?
We used to go, back in the day I used to really eat super unhealthy. So we used to go to White Castle and the gas station and we get like a 40 ounce and some chicken ring. That was what we do. And then we come back and play
I
GTA.
thought
The
I, I
first
thought I knew where
GTA.
them discs was. I thought I knew where them discs was, but I'm gonna definitely dig them up because I know I seen them recently.
As long as they
Because
exist, that's all that matters. You guys got
yeah,
to make sure that you. So the thing is that with all of that stuff, since you still have it, you got to make sure you archive it and make sure that you know put it out to the world to hear because like that type of stuff is an
well,
entire.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, Garbs. Here's the thing about that. So I listened to it, and let's just forgive stylistic changes,
Yeah,
getting better over the years. Let's forget all that, right? Let's forget. I speak differently now. Okay, I speak differently than I used to. I was a little reckless back then. A little reckless
yeah,
back then.
I know I was.
Um, and if it was already out, it'd be one thing. Since it's not out, it
It's
might
not
be
gonna
some
be out.
editing
You
that
don't want to
might
put it
happen.
out.
That
Not
might
even
have to
gonna
happen.
be a.
Yeah,
I,
because it's a different landscape. And we've been talking about the importance of communication. Um, I'm I'm a big believer in either being a stepping stone or a stumbling block, right? I want to help people get to the next level. I'm real good at that, right? I feel like that's one of my traits, one of my abilities to help people get to the next level, just maybe through encouragement or trying to help make things happen. I don't want to be a stumbling block. Well, Haiku did this, Haiku did that. I guess it's all right when it wasn't, or I don't agree with it because that happened back in 2000 or
20
2001.
years ago.
I ain't right. I ain't even that dude no more. I
Right.
don't, uh,
As you
but I
shouldn't be.
hear you.
As you shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like as time progresses, you should grow and become a different human being, a
Agreed.
better version of
Agreed.
your original self.
But I'm fine with sharing it. I'm fine with sharing it with family that have witnessed the growth
Yeah.
during that time. I think I've done songs with everyone here that's on this um that's on this platform right now, and I think, man, we've had some really really good times. I
Yeah.
just was curious because I spent when I first got it, Jinx. I tell you what, for an hour, 2 hours straight, I went through like four discs. Like, oop, let me listen to this. Oop, and I just went
mm,
through it, and it was just like that feeling. That's why I want you get the equipment. It's worth $100, dude. It's worth $100. It's
He
worth.
said two.
This is too.
And so
He said two.
and so what? No, don't get that one. No, there's other ones on there. Don't get that one.
You don't have to
Don't
get
get
that
it.
one.
Let's not get
It's
crazy.
not, it's not
You
worth
want
two.
to
It's not
look
get
at his
crazy.
face. Look
But
at his
one
face.
thing I
That's the
did.
one he wants. Look at it. He wants that one specifically, don't
So
you?
Yeah, he working on it. He working on it.
he probably want to know who the seller is, because he probably thinking that that is mine. That's the
it's a
one that
Nope.
was.
custom.
That is the one that
No,
we
mine
sold.
mine was mine was blue. One
Oh,
was
okay.
blue. I think me and Vice have both got the same one at the same time, so we both had one, and that shit gone with the
Go
wind. And
go
then
fund Jinx. Go fund Jinx on his
Dude,
antiquated equipment.
you ain't
yeah,
got to
I'm
do
gonna
no
start a
GoFundMe.
Patreon, man.
He had a birthday thing going on for like 2 weeks. Shoot, he should have the money for that.
2 days, nigga.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
It was
Birthday.
two
It's my
days,
birthday last week. It's a
and they ain't
celebration.
and they ain't
You had-
sent me nothing after I got off the live stream. I ain't get shit else. So
well, hey, that's good to know because when my birthday comes, we definitely doing a bonus edition on my birthday. I'll tell you that right
You're gonna be pinning money to his shirt and
now.
all.
So one thing that I did as soon as I got it, well, so one thing about the one that I have right now, so mine was priced a little bit lower because it didn't have the ability to record. It could play, but it
ah,
couldn't record, which is fine. Because the worst thing that could happen to me
You're
was
not
that
gonna
I
be
get it,
Record
but
over
record
something
over
you got.
something like, oh my God,
like,
no,
what do you need
no.
to record?
you right.
You sounded disappointed. At this point, you don't need that to record.
I don't need that. I just need you to play. I just need you to
Yeah,
play.
no
So
reason to record on anything like that right now.
exactly,
Yeah,
stop
because
it.
at the end of the day, the quality was not that great. The sound quality on them shits was not that great.
But
Yeah, I would agree.
Not
It was
compared to where it's at
beautiful
now.
at
It's
the
still pretty
time,
good.
but
it's
in
what
hindsight,
that's
no.
what stuff sounded like at the time though. So I
I
just like
mean,
watching them
for
on.
what
Like
it
I got all
was,
kind of.
because wasn't none of us really getting like true mixes and mastering on the music and shit like that anyway. But um, as far as like this purpose that it served for the time, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, I wouldn't be recording shit on that motherfucker. Not with this, directed digital shit going on.
No, yeah, there's no
You know.
comparison. There's no compare. That was the one frustrating thing about it. You had to get the recording just right. You made one mistake. You had to go back and start from the very beginning of the track,
Basically, it's a digital cassette player,
right?
cassette tape.
That's it. That's
It's a
it.
digital cassette tape.
It was frustrating. That was definitely a frustrating thing when I first got Reason, and I got Reason because Floyd got me on that. Actually, Floyd got me, our boy from the other half of Rhyme Royal, Jay Floyd. He got me on Cubase initially, and then got me a cracked version of Reason. He said, "Just try this out and see if you like it." And I was pretty much sold because it would not only record, but you could also produce from it as well. That was perfect. That was it. And straight to
Yeah.
digital.
First
Straight
medium
to digital.
recorded on.
I'm so
First,
glad that you mentioned that.
Damn.
you got the whole props. You got everything. You still got it. Let's see. I'm waiting.
Where the hell did I put that thing? Hold on.
You could have just answered the question.
No.
He
So
look
You
at the
gotta go
clock
get
on
it.
their ass.
Well, I can answer it. Cassette tape.
Oh
so
wow.
so
Okay.
this is the Papa version, right, of the first one I had. I had the 840, the Roland 840, but
Yeah,
this
that's what
came
we
out.
had. That's what me and Vice had, the 840.
I had the
We
Roland 840. That was
I still
beautiful.
have
I still have it. I don't know where it's at right now. I still have it, but I got this right afterwards, or when it came out. I'll put it that way.
Like that right there was serious, man.
Hmm.
nigga.
That was a
What
beautiful
about you
piece of
guys?
equipment.
What did you guys first record on? What was the first medium that you put your voice on?
The first
We did it.
medium I put my voice on was just
Well, I'm
radio and
saying to record a song.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's different than that. But yeah, the first was, I believe it was ADAT. It was my first and only ever recording on ADAT. And then it was like an immediate change
So
to digital right after that. So I mean, I don't remember what the audio interface was back then though.
I remember mine. What
Hmm.
about
Before Pro Tools, I don't remember what it used to be. I forgot.
really?
Oh,
I've used the ADAT. I think we recorded on ADAT first. That was like in a studio with four cats. And that kind of led me to go get the 840 because I'm like, we're spending too much money to make mistakes and things like that and like not be happy with what we did.
Yeah, them cats was doing hip hop artists back then. Because if you ain't going there with somebody that knew what was going on and knew what you wanted, you get whatever. Well, it didn't even matter all that expensive ass equipment in there. You come out with stuff to sound like
You come out with
trash.
crap. You come out
Yeah,
with
when we
crap.
started, man, there was really like no hip hop studio that you know that we were familiar with. So our first recording was in this guy's studio. He kind of was known for like doing like a couple R&B records at some point. I think he may have done some shit for like just some obscure ass '90s artists. Like I don't know if it was, but like just say like High Five or some shit like that. Like
Sure.
so that was our first actual recording studio experience, and then from there we went to this guy out in Sandusky who used to like record for like Disney or some shit. Like this dude had the like to this day one of the most ridiculous studios I ever been to.
Yeah.
Big money. And we had to pay big money to record in that bitch, and we didn't. It was money we didn't really even have.
Didn't even
But
have
his shit was all cork. It was cork. Like his studio was cork, oak wood. Like that was the whole theme of the whole studio. And like he had like this fucking vault door for the studio. And it was the dopest, probably the dopest studio I've been in and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we was like, we can't keep affording this shit. And I don't know if y'all remember this song we had. What the fuck was the name of that song? It had to be like. I can't even remember the fucking.
Can't remember the record.
I think it was like "Let the
Might have to
Games
go back.
Begin" or some shit. Like I can't remember.
I might have to go back because I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It was a big beat. It was a super big beat, and it was like half mixed, but it sounded doper than any of the shit that we had because he was just that dope. I'm gonna
He
just
was
put a
that
rough
dude.
mix.
What
I'm gonna
about
just
you,
rough
Steve?
mix it and give it to y'all and shit, and we just took that shit and ran with it.
Yeah,
But
with it. Right.
yeah.
It was
Yeah, we was
the
getting a
record
lot
mix
of.
was too
We was getting a lot of what, whatever you say is what you get, shit. Because it wasn't pretty back then, man.
Nah,
But
You know,
yeah,
man.
our first meeting was ADAT though.
Really?
the,
And our first two singles, I think, it was on ADAT, and then that's when we formed our label in Buffalo, and our first 12-inch we did was off Task Am for a track.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Haven't
And
put
My
anything
first-
on wax to this day, man.
That was man, that just took me like you saying that, like that just took me back to that entire time period of like college radio and underground stuff.
man, it's like I ran across so many dudes that had different little tricks and stuff that they was doing. Like hip hop is amazing, man. And it was like, like all the equipment that comes out now, like put it right in your face, all the little tricks and stuff that you could do. Back
Right.
then, dudes was like, I remember one of my cats I went to college with, man, he had one of them Casio keyboards with the recorder on it, like a little 4-pad recorder on it.
Mm,
And I think it was the same Casio that they were saying that Swiss Beats did that that joint.
mhm.
Oh yeah.
But he had that keyboard and like you get like 2 seconds of recording on it. And he did this shit, blew my mind out in his basement one day, and he was like spinning the record and recording it. And it allowed him to get like 12 seconds a sample on a two
Mm,
Mm.
second pad. And I was like, that's
it's
fucking
ingenious.
bro. I would have never thought of that. Brilliant. So like, you get this little quick sample that you think you could sample, and then he take it and turn it into 8 seconds worth of sample that you can use just by
Oh,
speeding
okay.
the
I see
record
what
up.
you're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
so the one thing I would say with that, like you said, hip hop is beautiful, and I talk about in the book that I wrote about how hip hop has affected my approach as far as business is concerned, because it makes you think about approach things differently. Just makes you approach things differently. We used to sell beats. We, make beats. Obviously, record. I mean, you're my man, my man, my man. Good plug,
Commercial,
good
Yo,
plug.
commercial.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But it makes you approach things a little bit differently. And I remember being on the interviews, and people have asked me if I've ever owned a business and this, that, and the third. Hip hop is its own business, man. I mean, if you're a hip hop artist, you've owned a business. You've been responsible for a business since you started, whether you got shows or you didn't get shows, negotiating with a manager of a club, brand, what your brand is going to be, putting out a CD, and I mean merchandise. I mean, it's a business. And
that's a
so
good point, man.
when I talk to people about hip hop, especially some of the purists, like musicians that are purists, we have hip hop snobs, right? People that, hey, you can't sample that, you can only sample this type of music, or if you sample, you can't use this many, you can only use this many seconds, whatever, or otherwise use too much. You know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
there are music purists too, and people that are like, well, sampling is not really, you're not really a musician. It's cheating. It's just taking blah blah blah. Uh, and the interesting thing about that is music being the universal language. How many more musicians were created because of hip hop?
yeah,
Right?
Mm,
I mean, how many more musicians were created? How many people now can speak the music language because of that? And how many of us have started producing because it's like, well, look, Jinx makes dope beats, but Jinx beats ain't haiku beats. I need a beat that I totally feel this is my mind, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's the reason why a lot of us started producing in the first place. It's like,
yeah,
you know, haiku is
what you
charging.
just said, I think a lot of people like. I mean, you know how people like all black people look alike or all Chinese, whatever. I
Right,
think
right.
when you acclimate to music, you start you start understanding the difference between what what rappers are doing or what producers are doing or what style, things actually have their names, things actually have their place,
Sure.
things actually have their their sequences and all that kind of stuff. So like I know what haiku tracks sound like. I'm getting to know what Jinx tracks sound like, that kind of thing. So when people, I've had this argument a lot of times about uh people sampling it and how real
Sure.
that is or not. But I don't care what it is you do. It's just like, producing, playing drums, DJing, whatever it is, them hours is there. To be good at the thing takes time, takes them hours. To be
and it
good at
also
being a
takes the
drummer,
ear.
Man, nah, man. I just kind of just started and was good though,
But it
personally. But
also it also
um, but
it
yeah,
also happens
Garbs.
that you have to
It
have the
reminds
ear.
me, I did get to listen to those tracks that you sent me,
Oh yeah,
and um, the tracks that I was thinking about sending you. Now I'm like, nah, you going in a different
yeah,
direction. Like I see
it's
what you're
completely
doing.
different.
So I
Yeah,
do have some other shit that I haven't played that I'm
yeah,
gonna get around to. You know what I'm saying? Between this week and the week before, shit has just been crazy. That's why we ain't even go live last Sunday.
yeah.
I wasn't feeling it. I had shit going on, so But I'm gonna get. I haven't forgotten. Trust and
Okay,
believe. So,
all right, for sure, for
but
sure.
yeah,
you gotta put them
shit,
hours in.
man, shit.
Like
We
Well, you know
six
what? It's
months,
not just the
six
hours
six
though.
months from now, 6 months from now, Jane's gonna be like my shit 6 months ago was trash.
Right.
Guaranteed.
True. But you also,
Guaranteed.
you also have to have the ear. You know what I mean? So it's not just the hours, it's the hours in the ear because we all know people that have, you've
Produced for
heard.
years and they're still trash.
You got, what though, but Garbs, you talking about basically, you talk the ear, yes, and just talent, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it kind of come down. I mean, Speed said something there. You can have talent, but if you don't put the hours in, then it's still going to be trash, right?
nah,
You ain't gonna realize the potential.
if you think
But
about like when I was doing radio, so everybody that's part of this, you know what I'm saying? Like your music has been played on my show even prior to us having uh, our own relationship with each
sure,
other, friendship. So that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, this is dope. Let me play it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all naturally have it, whereas not everybody naturally has it. And I think that that is a unique thing when it pertains to hip hop music with being what
Yeah,
Those,
you're gonna
those people become
gravitate.
managers and A&Rs.
would you say?
You gravitate to dope, man.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. You gravitate to dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So absolutely, man. I mean, I just feel like I think even with rhyming, there was a part of me that would like listen to shit and be like, I would do that different.
Mhm.
Or, you know what I'm saying? I think the same thing with production, like, you know what I'm saying? And God and you know what I'm saying? And Lord knows, you know what I'm saying, as much shit as we've done and as much of, some of the best music, that I've put out has been done by Vice. There's still plenty of instances where I'll listen to some of the shit he do. I'll be like, I would do that different. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was just a catalyst for me to be like, let me tinker with some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, ultimately, like that's usually the catalyst for me to get involved in some shit. I'll see some shit and be like, I can do that.
I could do that. Yeah,
I
you
can
know what?
I can do
That's
that.
when I started making beats. That was the same thing
Yeah.
that I've felt. I was like, man, let me just go ahead and try it because you know what I'm saying. Like I like the sound, but I don't want to wait for beats. Let me just try it,
Exactly.
see what
Exactly.
happens, and then it
Yeah, and
just
that's
turned out
that's
to
been
be
a big problem too.
That's a
So
hostage situation right there.
yeah, yeah, it is a
Yeah.
hostage
Yeah.
situation.
So imagine this, because a lot of the beats that I've purchased for this new project that I've been working on have been I bought it off of BeatStars. I don't know if you guys are familiar with BeatStars.
Yeah, I've been browsing
Bro,
BeatStars.
bro, like you haven't even heard half of this stuff. And the fact is that there's a variety of price points on there, and options. And
Nigga,
I just sit there and
I'll put up my
try to
BeatStars
imagine.
playlist right now, bro.
Yeah, if think about if that technology existed.
Yeah,
Well, back
yeah,
then
Right.
it was Beat
Accept that
Society.
accessibility.
It was Beat
Yeah,
Society back then. You don't remember Beat Society?
no,
I heard about it.
Beat Society,
it
man, that
wasn't
was the
good.
first time that I heard uh 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 uh, uh fuck.
Beats.
Yeah, I'm not even hip. I don't even know what it is. I don't know
Uh, uh,
what is
Kirby's.
it.
uh,
What you call it? Asian dude, ill mind.
hmm.
Ill mind.
Okay,
He kind of blew up from Beat Society and you know what I'm saying started producing for everybody. But Ill Mind, he would kind of got real popular on Beat Society. It was just a forum. You play beats. It says who's there. There was really no way to download beats or nothing like that. But certain people would post beats, and me and Vice would be like, "You hear this ill mind, motherfucker?" Like beat after beat after beat after beat. I was just like, "Shit." So yeah, Beat Society, which they still do events and shit like that right now. And we're plugged in with the main guy. They were like the first ones to kind of have this type of platform. It just wasn't a way to necessarily sell back then. You know what I'm saying? The
monetize
way
it.
that
It
they
wasn't
have on
monetizing.
BeatStars.
But
Yeah.
that's my point. Is like, could you imagine if that technology existed back then, to where
SoundCloud and shit.
with the click of a button you can listen to a beat like, hey, that's dope, and then by another click you can purchase it. I
Right.
mean, have access to record it within 2 minutes of you hearing the beat. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
incredible.
So
Just so y'all
so
know, if y'all ain't
uh
hip to it,
uh-huh.
this is the
Yeah,
uh,
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
uh
yeah, it's really great. It's a dope, really dope
Is that no
platform.
that's BeatStars or is that Beat Society?
no,
That's
this is
Big Star.
BeatStars. This is
Oh,
BeatStars.
okay.
And
Yeah,
I
I'll
was
check that
actually
out.
gonna
That's
start uploading
growth,
some of my
man.
shit up here, or just because, but it's definitely the biggest platform to date, and even just like creating playlists of beats.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. It's a lot different than what it used to be.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's crazy, man. That it's all like it's there. Somebody took the world and compiled it into a website, and it's like it's all here. If you like it, then you like it. I want to give a big shout out right quick before we bounce out of this piece.
Sure.
My brother-in-law Sean Charles just released his album day before
Oh.
yesterday. I think day before yesterday. It's called Two Piece. You can find it on all your platforms. Sean Charles, Two
What's
Piece.
it?
I'm
Two
featured
piece?
on there. I got a song called No Country for Old Men because I'm
yeah,
old.
man.
Yo,
What's up?
that's gonna be the next one. We won't do a pick today. Maybe next Sunday we'll do a pick. Let's do one of local, I guess. Not our
Local
own
albums?
shit.
Oh,
Huh?
hell yeah. Local albums like
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
really,
but
really
not our
dope.
own shit. Cause I
Oh,
tell you,
hell.
I ain't listening to nobody local, nigga. I'll just be honest with you. I
It's not a stretch of imagination. We know.
It doesn't
We know
have to
that,
be,
Biggs.
it doesn't
We know.
necessarily have to be new. Pick,
New?
no, it doesn't have to be new. It could be something in the past. Something
And
that
what y'all think? I
resonated.
mean, what would make better? See, this is the only thing, right? This is the only thing I want to say about that. The fact that we do a lot of like the old school or older records, as far as like mainstream records and shit like that, there's still a part of us that has to get in the mindset to enjoy some of this
So
stuff.
it just
So if there's really
engages.
somebody you want to put me on to, I'm just telling you. If there's somebody
Right,
that
right,
you
right.
really want to put me on to, your best bet is to do some new shit. That's
I
all
think
I'm
we will
saying.
definitely have to do that more anyway because I mean like the same sentiment that Siege has every week about some of these albums is the sentiment I have. Like I'm willing to listen to some of these new cats, but like I ain't just going out there diving on it. So like I ain't diving on no grenades. If y'all got some new cat that y'all heard that y'all like, yo, you need to check this out because this dude got it. Then let me know.
Cool.
I'm
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm
Well,
always posting up shit anyway, but as far as the turntable, I think maybe we should theme it out a little bit. Come up
well,
with
let's
something that's
let's break that down into a separate conversation,
Hmm.
and we can decide on that, and then we'll come back and address it, and be strategic about it. With that all being said, I do think that it's been close to 90 minutes for us been
Yeah, I'm
rocking
about to
on
die
here.
here. I'm
Yeah,
about to die here.
yeah.
we do want to say thank you to all the people that been peeping us out. Thank you so much. Uh, hey, stay safe. Stay
Make
Yeah.
sure
safe.
y'all
Stay
go to the
safe.
YouTube, like, share, and subscribe.
That's
Make
it.
sure y'all, like he said, stay safe out there. You know what I'm saying?
Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Be vigilant. Be vigilant. Stay safe. Stay positive. Things
Yeah.
will change one day at a time. All right,
Don't
y'all.
blow up cars, y'all. Don't blow up cars.
Love y'all. Peace.
Yeah,
Peace
one.
out.
I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say. Peace out.